Although there aren't many members of Team Shifty Drug, there are some aspects of the team that make it really interesting. But before we get into a review of another amazing Piston Cup team, I wanted to thank you guys for 1,600 subscribers. I just hit it yesterday morning and I'm absolutely amazed. It seems that we're hitting milestone after milestone in a seemingly short amount of time. I never thought I'd be able to hit 1,600 subscribers, let alone 1,000 or below that. But I'm super glad I did, and we're only 400 subscribers away from 2,000. Thank you guys so much for this. I really appreciate every bit of support you give me. So now let's get back into today's suggestion video. This was suggested to me by Hot Wheels Jimmie. Thank you very much for the suggestion. I really do appreciate it. And if any of you would like to suggest something yourself, the information on how to do so is in the description below, along with the information on how to request something for your birthday. Now, let's dive right into Team Shifty Drug by providing the basics if you aren't aware about this team. So there are only 2 members, and you're looking at them both. We have the racer, Kevin Racingtire, who represents the sponsor, and the hauler that transports Kevin around from race to race. Now, the hauler was only released once in 2010 and has not been re-released since, and I highly doubt it will. However, Shifty Drug the Racer here has been released several times, and for more specifics on the releases, you could check out the description below. But I feel that the most interesting of those releases was the 2015 release, and the only reason really for that is because he kind of shifted colors during the releases. So he started off the year in a red color, which was the original color of his releases. And unfortunately, this was an inaccurate color. As you can see, that red color right there does not match the hauler and does not match the movie. So therefore, a lot of collectors were a little upset about this original release, but of course bought it anyways because they had to have it in their collection, and so did I. But I was still pretty disappointed that Mattel didn't have the correct color, because it didn't even match the hauler here. You'd have them right next to each other, and they just wouldn't really look right. I mean, in my opinion, that just doesn't really look good. But in 2015, after the first few cases, Mattel did correct the color to the actual pink, and it is in the movie. So it matches the hauler a little bit better, although not entirely, but basically does the job. So here are the releases. We have the new corrected pink version right here, which was the common release, and the red version right here, which was the lesser common because it was only in one case of the year. So I personally prefer the correct version, but I don't know about you guys. The red version doesn't look horrible, but I feel like the main reason why it looks bad in my opinion is because it's just not accurate to the movie. So now let's focus on the 2 members right here. Let's start with the racer. He obviously represents Shifty Drug, and there's the sponsor logo right there. And now a few differences between him and the original versions. Basically, his eyelids are flat and they're not raised. I know you guys may know about this, but for those who don't, all the original Piston Cup racers and a lot of other characters too had these raised eyebrows or eyelids, whatever you want to call them, so it will give you like a rigid feeling when you move your finger across. But now to cut back costs, I would assume they made this flat here. I don't really mind, like I've said in previous videos, it's not really a big deal to me. So on to the side of Kevin Racingtire here. He's got all of his sponsors, which are basically a bunch of other Piston Cup racers. Number 35. Now one thing that's not completely accurate about him is that he's supposed to have a slight pink rim or outline going around his white rim right here. Unfortunately, Mattel didn't add that, and that's kind of the deal with a lot of Piston Cup racers. They don't usually add that outline that is supposed to be there. I believe they only did that on RPM. So on the back here it says Shifty Drug and it's got the logo right there. No slogans or anything like on some Piston Cup racers. Pretty nice decals, but not the most detailed racer, because I feel like other Piston Cup racers have those slogans or a little description for their product, but Shifty Drug does not. And now let's move on to the hauler here, which is definitely one of the coolest haulers in my opinion, and it's probably because of the color. I mean, look at this guy, he's pink. I mean, you can't go wrong at all. So like I said, only released in 2010, and you could separate the hauler from the semi just by applying some pressure, and yeah, that was pretty loud right there, my god. You can't probably keep these connected for a long time, otherwise it gets really stiff and hard to take off. But here we have the semi here, which looks pretty nice. Now, I wouldn't be extremely surprised if one day they did release the semi alone, like they did with the Nitroid cab, but I highly doubt they'll ever release the hauler as a whole. The mud flaps here, you've got the Shifty Drug logo, and the license plate reads SJD753. So pretty nice decals all around on the Shifty Drug cab right here, or semi. Very nice expression as well. Now let's move on to the hauler or trailer portion. We've got some nice decals going all around. Shifty Drug Team, 35 Racing. Essentially the same decals on the back with the addition of some taillights there. And a very small decal for the license plate, which looks to read the same as it did on the semi. Same decals on the side there, and he also has roof decals as well, which look pretty nice. And he also has this little satellite here, probably for internet connection or like dish or whatever you'd like to call it. And it opens from the side. You always want to open it from the left side because that's the way that the platform folds out. Because if you open it from the right side, the platform won't fold out that way. So this flips down like that, and then you can also flip down these supports right there, which are extremely hard to do on mine, especially since they're kind of in there and they're just kind of stiff over the years. But you guys can imagine those being flipped down. So you got this little ramp right here, and you could drive a Shifty Drug right on up there, and you could act like he's actually being transported somewhere. So that's just kind of an example though, is how the colors still don't totally match. Because I feel like Shifty Drug Hauler is a lot more like Tank Oat's color, while the Racer is just not there. So, you know, theoretically what you'd have to do here is push this all the way in. Well, first you want to fold up this platform here, and then you push in the platform, put Shifty Drug in there, and then close the hauler. So like I said though, you can also open it from this side, but not really recommended because you can't open up the platform because it just doesn't fold out this way. So that is all for Team Shifty Drug. I wish they released more, but unfortunately Mattel, as you guys know, don't like to complete things. So we are only with kind of, I guess you could say, 3 different die casts for Shifty Drug. And no other ones were previewed either. These were the only ones that were previewed and eventually released. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you Hot Wheels Jimmie for the suggestion. I hope the video lived up to what you'd hoped it to be, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday for another video. See you guys then. Bye now.